It's just past 9 in the morning, and here are all the very latest main news stories from the TSN team right now. And a quick, important reminder, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, give us a like, and hit the bell so you don't miss any of our updates.
Strikes on infrastructure and residential neighborhoods. Overnight, the Russians struck Ukraine's frontline regions. One woman was killed and another injured as a result of enemy attacks on Zaporizhzhia. Over the course of the day, the occupiers carried out 474 strikes on the region. In Primorske, a woman was killed by a strike drone. And at night, Russian Shaheds struck residential neighborhoods in Zaporizhzhia. Several private houses burned down completely. Rescuers continue to extinguish the fires. The woman who was injured received medical assistance. In the Sumy region, 3 people were injured by Russian shelling. The village of Ulyanivka was attacked by a Molnia drone. A local resident sustained multiple injuries. In the Bilopilia community, 2 rescuers were injured while responding to a fire. An attack drone dropped explosives on them. 2 wounded, fires and destruction. 2 districts in the Dnipropetrovsk region came under fire. The enemy attacked Nikopol with artillery and FPV drones. A hospital, a gymnasium, a church, and a business were damaged. A dormitory was hit, along with 4 apartment buildings, private houses, a garage, and a car. In the Khrushchevsky community in Kryvyi Rih, the enemy attacked with drones. A fire broke out. For the 3rd day, Kyiv rescuers deal with aftermath of attack on Cabinet of Ministers building. Ukrainian and foreign journalists saw the government building. The roof and 2 floors of the right wing are destroyed. Completely. Emergency workers are using heavy cranes to dismantle the collapsed floors and structures. 2 floors below is the hall for government meetings and the Prime Minister's office, where they were damaged but only partially. These rooms were not shown to journalists. At the site of the fire response, bomb disposal experts are still finding remnants of the Russian missile. According to preliminary data, it was an Iskander. The ballistic missile with a cluster munition did not detonate, and the fire broke out due to the ignition of rocket fuel.
Firefighting was complicated by the fact that there were a lot of wooden structures in the building's elements. The flames spread very quickly. There was a high fire load from the very beginning, and this was already the 7th location in Kyiv. DSNS units were already working at 6 other sites, so the buildup of forces and resources was carried out in stages.
A woman who was injured as a result of the strike in the Svyatoshinsky district of Kyiv has given birth to a son. The mother herself remains in serious condition. On the night before Sunday, a Shahed drone struck a 9-story building in a residential district of the capital. One of the injured was a 24-year-old pregnant woman. Doctors performed an emergency delivery and she gave birth to a son. Rescue operations at this location have already been completed. The broken windows were covered with plastic film or wooden panels. Along with utility workers, residents of the damaged buildings also joined in cleaning up the courtyard. Representatives of the local authorities are expected to meet with the victims to discuss compensation payments.
They got involved simply because they live right here. Our children walk here.
We will finish very soon. The emergency repair work, because almost all the dangerous structures we have already cut and removed. And we are trying to ensure that not only utility services, but also the relevant commission and the people who live here can access their premises as soon as possible.
A fuel crisis for Russians after Ukrainian strikes on oil refineries. In occupied Crimea, gasoline prices have surged. The cost of fuel used to fill cars has increased by 10% over the past month. Drivers from the peninsula say that now there are no alternatives, so they have to spend more. Residents of Zabaikalsky Krai and the Far East are also experiencing higher prices and a shortage of gasoline. In some places, fuel is being distributed with ration cards. The authorities cite seasonality as the reason for the price increase and assure that everything is under control. However, the fact that the situation is critical is evidenced by the Kremlin's complete ban on gasoline exports since July in an attempt to prevent shortages. Let me remind you, since the beginning of August, Ukrainian forces have been systematically striking oil refineries.
This is a TSN broadcast. The most important news as of 9 a.m. You are watching TSN News. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave comments on the broadcast. Well, I'll continue.
The Ministry of Defense has announced that they have updated the procedure for payments to families in the event of a service member's death during martial law. The total amount of financial assistance remains unchanged at 15 million hryvnias. 3 million of that amount must be paid out immediately. The remaining 12 million will be paid out over 80 months according to a special schedule. The new rules apply to cases that are officially certified by a death certificate dated from September 1 of this year. The first millennial saint. The Pope has canonized 15-year-old Carlo Acutis. He was born in London in the early 90s, was passionate about technology and computer games. Throughout his short life, the teenager actively spread the ideas of Catholic teaching via the internet. For this, he earned the nickname God's Influencer, Simoko Ko Mao Abomfo Mao. At the age of 15, Carlo died from a severe form of leukemia. The boy's body is covered in wax and preserved in an incorrupt state. He was buried in the Italian city of Assisi. For a long time, Carlo's mother tried to achieve his canonization. This was only achieved after the confirmation of so-called religious miracles. In particular, it is claimed that both an infant and a Florentine student were healed by touching his relics. Maria Pryimachenko's works as interpreted by world artists. The famous American artist duo Kaosa opened their first exhibition in Ukraine. Out in the open air, 7 pneumatic sculptures created by Adam Freza and Terry Chow appeared on Kontraktova Square. The inspiration for creating these mega sculptures. The artists drew their inspiration from the works of the Ukrainian artist Pryimachenko. Near the Ferris wheel in Podil, a several-meter-tall sunflower, a huge bright bird, a blue beast, and a peapod have appeared. You can not only see them, but also take photos with them. Against the backdrop of these vibrant sculptures, you can even hug them, because each one has tactile elements. The exhibition will be open air until September 21st and is completely free of charge.
I think this is another significant opportunity for us to talk about the nation of Ukraine, to discuss Ukrainian art and to explore Ukrainian culture. When we see it interpreted by talented American artists like this, it immediately provides us with a certain unique opportunity. This particular work is heading next to New York City, it's going to the United States of America, and through Brancho Oza it will be speaking to many Americans. To visitors, telling them about Ukraine and about Maria Pryimachenko. Culture is our very powerful weapon.
Now is the time to build much stronger ones. Emotional connections between Ukraine and the world, telling who we are, telling about our outstanding artists and figures, because the world already knows that Ukraine exists, but they know little about us.
Kyiv is recovering after yesterday's downpour. The day before, in the afternoon, due to heavy rain, rivers of water flowed through the streets of the capital. They were so deep in some places that they made it difficult for both cars and pedestrians to move. Social media users shared videos of streets, roads, and pedestrian areas flooded by the downpour. In some places in the center of the capital, the water level reached up to people's knees, so people had to wade through puddles, barefoot. It's warm like summer, but now with rain. Meteorologists are forecasting heavy rainfall in the Carpathians. And on Wednesday, September 10th, there will be brief thunderstorms and squalls in the south. Residents of the western part of the country will have to carry umbrellas with them from Thursday until the end of the week. Meteorologists say the precipitation will not significantly affect the air temperature. Autumn will only be felt at night. And during the day, the sun will still be warming most regions. Temperatures are expected to range from 21 to 28 degrees Celsius. On the weekend, meteorologists are also forecasting moderate, comfortable daytime temperatures and cool nights.
The temperature background still comfortably remains within typical summer limits, primarily because meteorological autumn officially begins when the average daily temperature consistently drops to 15 degrees Celsius or lower. Only then is it truly considered meteorological autumn. Indeed, meteorological autumn. For the present moment, all these crucial indicators are still significantly higher, so we comfortably remain in the established summer.
Anniversary Ramstein. Today, the 30th meeting of the Ukraine Defense Contact Group, known as the Ramstein format, will take place online in London. The meeting is scheduled for 17:15 Kyiv time. It will open with statements from UK Defense Secretary John Healey, German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius, and Ukrainian Defense Minister Denis Shmyhal. He has already set off for the meeting in the United Kingdom. On the eve of the Defense Summit, Shmyhal held a meeting with President Zelensky, where the main priorities for Ramstein were determined. Zelensky himself spoke about this in his evening address. According to him, the number one task at the meeting is to discuss strengthening Ukraine's air defense.
The minister will be attending the Ramstein meeting in the coming days. We have defined the key objectives. Strengthening air defense is the number one goal for this Ramstein and for our contacts in Europe and the United States in general.
With that, I'll wrap up this episode, but there's still a lot of interesting things ahead. To make sure you don't miss anything, subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell.
Have a great day, everyone.